Imagine this, and this isn't too far away. You have half human team and half AI bot. And so you're delegating just like you normally do. You don't really think about it. And you start to delegate things to AI that you hadn't thought about could build trust, influence, collaboration if a human did it. Are you going to change the way you delegate? I think we really need to think about this. I want to start the conversation now because it's like we're building the plane while it's in flight. Welcome to How to Get What You Want. This podcast is for driven women ready to claim their goals and navigate their careers with clarity and confidence. Join me as we explore real stories, tools, and strategies to help you steer your career exactly where you want to go. Let's get started on helping you get what you want. Hey friend, welcome back to Get What You Want. I'm Susie Tomanchuk, and I'm glad that you made the choice to be here today. I've been thinking a lot about AI, as we all have, but I've been taking the lens of how is it affecting leaders? How is it affecting culture? And I think it's something that we really need to talk about right now because all of the deployments that are going on are happening at how do we reduce operational costs? How do we think about the ROI of the business? But not a lot of people are really talking about how do we adopt it and how do we look at how we are as leaders and how our team thrives while being not replaced by AI bots, but being enhanced by them. This really matters because in order to get what you want, you need to build those other nuanced skills. And so understanding this is important for you as an individual, but as for your team as well, especially as you go up in the organization. I mean, culture is going to start really be questioned in terms of how is it thriving? And this is so important because we have to have the mindset and awareness. That's why it's connected to negotiation, because having a negotiator mindset is key in this to get what we want, because we will inspect what's going on. We're looking at the outcomes. We consider where the leverage is for us as leaders. And this came to light for me with some stories of some clients. So I looked up some research, and McKinsey has in their State of Organization report for 2026, they surveyed 10,000 senior leaders across 15 countries, and they said that 88% of organizations deploying AI right now, 88% of all companies are, but only 86% of leaders say their organization is not prepared to adopt it into day-to-day operations. That's only 16% of all of the companies are ready for adoption. They're just deploying it. And that's what I'm seeing too. I see leaders saying everybody should be using AI, figure out how to use AI, but there's not a lot of how are you using AI? And I'll tell you more. The other survey I looked at was Deloitte talked to or researched or surveyed, I should say, 9,000 leaders across 89 countries and found that 65% of organizations believe their culture needs to change significantly because of AI, but only 6% say they're making any real progress on how humans and AI will actually work together well. We're moving fast. Like I said, we are building the plane as we're flying. I've never really thought that saying really got flight for me in any scenario except right now. I am seeing this in real time. So let me tell you, I have a client who we often talk about different people on his team, and we were looking at different what their strategies were, how are they delivering against their goals. And he said to me, you know, this one senior leader, they're really tight. Let's call him Trent. And the person that worked for him is May. Now let's see if I can remember those. So Trent was saying to me, it's weird. May just seems a little off to me. They're really close. They connect a lot. And he said something just feels distant. So sometimes as a leader, the first inkling or feeling about something, it's just saying it out loud is really enough. So every time that I got together with him, I brought up May and said, "Where is she in all of this, and how is it working?" And he kept saying, like, "I still feel like something has shifted, something has changed." And finally, after our third conversation about May, he goes, I think she's using AI, and I think I have an issue with it." Isn't that interesting? So what was happening was May was taking the direction and just started using AI all the time. She started by taking emails that she was writing, putting them in AI, and she was so impressed with the output that she would just cut and paste and send it along. Well, some of the word choice, some of the way that she was using AI just didn't sound like her. So he didn't recognize that pattern that he just noticed. He couldn't put names to it, but he felt it. And then some of the decisions he felt like she was saying, but it wasn't coming from her head. It was really interesting when he put the pieces together, and he said, "I really need to talk to her about how I expect her to use AI and how I want to still see the way she thinks in the communication she gives, in the documents she produces, in the presentation she puts together, because right now it feels like there is a separation between us." And it really helped me understand that people are adopting it at different levels, at different speeds. Some people are just using it for email and making it sound better. Some people are actually using it for more strategic work. So you could have one team that is adopting it completely different. So now this leader has all of these different entities on the team adopting AI at different speeds. And what's additionally troubling to me about that is, as we know, if you're using AI, it's changing so much. And some of the ahas around how we use it, like my daughter was telling me that it's better not to type into it. It's better to use the microphone and just to talk into it because AI can pick up some of those nuances. Well, that wasn't just automatic to me. I really needed to have that prompt from her to tell me how to integrate it. She also said, "Mom, don't do one thing out of a time. Have a lot of things going on at once." That's the power of having this agent work for you. There's nuances that we're learning along the way. And so if we're at it at different levels, we're all going to adopt it a little bit differently. And the people that are just using it for emails, they're going to be left behind. So it's a fascinating time. And I want you to really think about how are you using it? And I'm going to give you a couple tips that came to mind for me as I'm watching people, because I think it's important to put these into your just thought process around it to make sure that you consider this as an AI user, but also as your team uses it. So the first thing is the signal that you send out or the signal that you receive, like that example from one of my clients, Trent, was that something was off. We get so used to the way that people communicate with us in our day to day that we don't notice the patterns that we get so used to. But then when something shifts, we're like, something's off, something's wrong with them. Well, her signal, May's signal to Trent was just different, and Trent didn't recognize it. He realized later that it was AI and the way she was packaging what she was thinking about. And honestly, I think May was leveraging it too much. She was impressed with the output and she thought it made her look smarter. And I think that was another reason that trust was eroding. And think about that. Trust can erode because the person that you've built trust with now doesn't seem like the same character. It's like Face Off. You remember the movie with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage? Oh my gosh, if you know me, you are now impressed that I could remember both of those people's names in one sentence. I'm amazed by myself. I'm horrible with names. Anyway, they switched personalities and that they started living each other's life. And so AI is going to be an interface, and we need to be aware of that. So understand that the signal that you're putting out or the signal that you're receiving may be shifting. And when it does, inspect. take some time to ask questions, see how they're using it. I think leaders are shortcutting it by saying, just start using AI and see what comes out. I think as a team, you should really be talking as a team and talking about how you're adopting it so that your leaders are in sync together and learning together. That's a best way of doing that. So the second tip I'll give you is around that. How do you make your team or encourage your team to work together? You don't want somebody to feel like they're out of the loop, that they're adopting a lot slower. You want everybody to be consistent. And I've heard a lot of experts talk about, as you're adopting it as an individual, benefit from the people around you, learn from them, ask them what they're using it for, understand what's working and what's not working. What kind of prompts are you using? How are you inputting those? All of those things and the behaviors and the way we use it, if you encourage your team to learn from one another, they're going to adopt it similarly, at least, so that there's some continuity of thought in how to best leverage it. And that's going to make AI a trusted coworker for them. And they can even put together some rules on what are you delegating? And that's the third tip, is really think about when you delegate to an AI bot, it may just be easier for you to explain to the AI bot and just give it to them to go. But start to think about, if a human was doing that, do they need to collaborate with others? Do they need to ask questions? Are there nuances to that task that will make them a better leader, that will challenge them? And even when you give a delegated task, how much do you want them to leverage AI? Give them some direction on that. I think it's important right now to consider, how do you advantage the humans to be able to grow and develop in ways that are going to help them, that doesn't benefit the AI bot? I'm not sure people are really thinking about that, about how cognitive we need to be in this moment as leaders and as stewards of this new technology. It makes me a little bit nervous, and I'm going to continue to talk on this topic because I think it's really important to watch as it goes along. So I'd love to hear what is happening with you. But don't forget, if you don't take any action on this within the next 72 hours, this is just entertainment. And that's all great, fine and good. But I want to challenge you. What are you going to do in the next 72 hours that you'll take a tip from this? Is it paying attention to some of the emails that are coming to you and going, interesting, when I look at an email from this person a year ago and today, it looks really different. I'm not saying come down on them. I'm not saying just inspect it. Understand how you're using it as well. Are you using it in a way that you're still using your own brain to be the creator of the idea and using AI as the element that helps you even make it clearer? That's fine. Or can you format this for me? But still be the generator of the ideas. Make sure that you're the thought leader and AI is your support staff. It's important to think about this. So inspect what's going on around you in the next 72 hours. Identify how you could shift the way that you're using it. Maybe the tip that my daughter gave me, that talking into it instead of typing it in, or doing one or more tasks. I mean, doing more than one task at once. What can you do differently? And how are you going to help your team adopt it so that they're doing it together? Such an important conversation. I'd love to hear your stories about what's going on from a culture, from a leadership, from a team perspective as it relates to AI. And use this as a topic for discussion with your team. Don't miss the opportunity. If we're flying the plane as we're building it, you better make sure that you're being very conscientious of that as we go along. It's interesting. I'm going to continue to talk about this, but also would love to get your thoughts. I'm so glad you made the choice to be here today to get what you want. I think AI is a great tool to get you there, but I want you to think about using it smartly, because adopting a negotiator mindset around AI is the key to make sure that the adoption bears fruit for you so you can get what you want, because it's more than a skill. It truly is a mindset, and it's yours, not AI's. Until next time, I'm Susie. I'll see you then.